Let's go now live to these pictures from Istanbul, where crowds have been gathering for the past couple of hours. As you can see, riot police also on standby. Let's join Anita McNaught, who is in Istanbul for us. Anita, the crowds are getting bigger. We also see riot police there. Bring us up to speed with what's been happening this Monday evening.
Well, it's been a peaceful afternoon in Taksim Square. We spent quite some time mingling with the protesters and talking to them about what they felt they were still there for and what they were hoping to achieve. But in the last hour, basically as darkness fell, things have taken a slightly different turn. Down in Beşiktaş, where I reported from last night, where there were some fairly major battles, scuffles, pushes between police and protesters. We've seen riot police set up some fairly tough barricades using steel cabling across the roads there, and there seems to be some exchange of force down there. Here in Taksim Square, where the mood was ebullient during the day and very peaceful, songs and moderate chants. In the last hour, we've had tear gas used, but we don't understand where from or what the objective of it was. So the protest continues. The square behind me, Taksim Square here, is actually very crowded now. The space behind me almost entirely full. No police in evidence in Taksim Square at all today, which in the view of almost everyone looking at the dynamic here is a wise decision. If the police were to appear here, it would only provoke violence. In the absence of the presence of police of any sort, there is no destruction of property. There was a fire here, but nothing more major than that. And the protesters are able to manifest themselves, but not the situation doesn't deteriorate into anything worse.
Anita, how much momentum is there right now? How determined are these protesters, and what's the end game for them?
Well, that's exactly the question. That's what I was asking them today, because the protesters were saying to me yesterday, we want to be listened to. We don't feel that the opinions of half the population are being respected or even heard. We don't necessarily agree with everything the government is doing, but they're showing no signs of taking any notice of us at all. Now, I spoke to some other people today who said that there is no option now but for the Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan to resign. That's not going to happen either. The Prime Minister is very clear that he has a democratic mandate to stay. He's been elected with an increasing majority every time, the 3 times that his party has stood in general elections here. So he feels very confident he has the backing of the majority of the population. And in fact, when he's made some rather unwise and provocative statements, you could say, to the crowds here, it has been along the lines of, you call out your few supporters, if I called out mine, they would outnumber you quite significantly. But we haven't seen anything like the supporters of the government coming out here and trying to crack heads. That again would be a political deterioration that would not help Turkey. But the people here feel that increasingly their democratic rights have been infringed or overruled. They feel that there is now a government by decree, that the Prime Minister and his party basically decide what they want to happen and do it, and there isn't a sufficiently consultative process in Turkey. The word others have used is a sort of majoritarian approach. That is to say, through the democratic process, I have won the control. Now I'm going to run everything. It's not a consultative process anymore. It's going to be something that I simply, I'm expressing what the view is of the government's behaviour here. It's just going to be something that I say goes. And it's that sort of feeling that the people here, standing against what the government has done in the last 6 months or so, are voting against with their feet by being here.